If you want to be successful in life, you better get ready to escape the masses. What's going on, guys? It's Uzziah, your success consultant, and in today's video, I'm trying to prepare you for the inevitable. The truth is, if you're ever going to be successful on any high level, you gotta be willing to escape the masses because you want results out of life that's different from the norm. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to go into the three things that you need to understand to really be able to reshape your mindset when it comes to this subject. You know, for most people, they are prone to blend into the masses. Whenever you think about ancient civilization, we were always taught how to be able to move and operate in packs. We would always move and operate as a unit. And there's still many great things that's associated with that. In fact, I've always been of the mindset that one of the detriments, especially in the Black community from which I exist, is that we don't adopt this way of thinking even more. But when it comes to your professional success, when it comes to your financial management, how you view your health, when it comes to these particular arenas, I want you to understand that based upon the results that you're seeing out of society, the only way that you personally are going to be successful is if you are willing to escape the masses. So first and foremost, understand this. Many are called, but few are chosen. In any arena of life, you're going to notice one pattern. The best of the best are always exclusively in the top 5% of everyone within that class. So when it comes to the subject of finances, how many people are financially independent? Only about 5%. When it comes to the world of business and the people that are able to get up every single day, be self-starters, and be able to run their own business and their own affairs, being their own boss, making their own money. How many people in the world do you think are actually doing that in real life? Only about 5%. If you look in any arena, and it doesn't matter whatever you're talking about, whether it's business, whether it's sports, whether it's entertainment, whether it's church, no matter what it is, physical fitness, you name it. The people that are actually getting the results that you want to accomplish, if you have a dream, are only within the 5% of people within that category. The rest of the 95% don't have it. So you have 95% of people on a very large scale that are check to check. You have 95% of people that don't feel as though they've reached the peak of their physical health. If you want to be able to accomplish any of your dreams that you set out for yourself, the things that you said that you would do, you got to be willing to understand that many are called and few are chosen. This aspiration that you have, it doesn't make you better than anybody. We're not putting people in different class categories. We're not looking down on people. We're not just snubbing our nose at people because they don't have the same goals and the same aspirations as us. It's a simple mental distinction that if you're really trying to be successful, you cannot be foolish enough to think that everybody else is actually trying to be successful just like you. I really want you to be able to see this. Maybe one of the biggest problems that you're going through right now is you want to be successful and you're trying to convince everybody else that they're going to be successful. You're trying to make everybody understand the reason why they should want to be successful. Not just for personal reasons, not for selfish gain, but because of the ways that it can improve their family, the way that it can improve their future legacy, future generations, their children, how it can impact their community around them because we're all interdependent. Many people will never come to this understanding. And so by you trying to twist their arm and you spending so much energy trying to get them to see this perspective, A lot of times you're just kicking yourself up against a brick wall because nothing is actually going to happen. Many are called and few are chosen in this regard. So when it comes to this mentality, does it mean that you don't try to share your success with other people? No, it doesn't mean that. It simply means that you got to be able to understand that the masses of people are not going to see things from this perspective. And if you want to be successful, you have to surround yourself around people that at least want to get to a certain level, even if they are not there as of yet. Because if you try to just be around anybody, if you try to have any type of environment, I guarantee you're never going to get ahead, because you're always going to be the average of the top 5 people that you spend most of your time with. You're always going to be a reflection of your environment in many ways. Many are called, few are chosen, okay? Second thing that I really want you to be able to understand, as you try to escape the masses, prepare for resistance. Because any single successful person in any arena was met with resistance once they came to the realization that they had to separate themselves from the masses in order to be great. I'm going to give you a prime example. And I always like to use a lot of biblical examples because that's what most of the world is familiar with, and it's a personal passion of mine. When you think about some of the greatest biblical leaders that ever lived, they were met with extreme amount of resistance. And they realized that they had to escape the masses if they wanted to be able to achieve spiritual greatness. If you were one of Christ's disciples during the time where he walked the earth, he told you right off the rip that if you weren't willing to deny yourself, if you weren't willing to deny the masses of people that were not about this gospel, you weren't worthy of being his disciple. You were not worthy of being able to achieve the spiritual success, all because of the fact that you were not willing to escape the masses. When you read about the life of the disciples, a lot of times they told Christ that they had left everything that they had prior to that. They left their environment. They left the things that they once held dearly to go and follow him. So this is a prime example that if you want to be able to accomplish greatness, it's not going to happen in your comfort zone. It's not going to happen with the same environment that you've had from the time that you've been born. It's not going to happen with the same circle of friends. It's not going to happen in just the way that you want it to happen. God is only going to give you the gifts that you need to get if you're actually willing to work for it. So you got to understand that when you make those changes and when you try to step yourself on another level, people are going to get mad at you. People are going to take exception to it. People are going to feel offended because they're going to feel threatened by how high you're trying to reach. I'm going to give you some prime examples of what this would look like in real life if you try to make yourself about something starting today. Oh, so you just think you're going to be a business owner now? So you're not good enough now that you got your own business. You just think that you all that now, huh? This is going to be the type of dialogue that people are going to have with you. And sometimes people are going to try to frame it as a joke and slide in the comment here and slide in the comment there. But notice over time how much that will pick up. When you were just bumming it and you were just being this average old dude walking up and down the street, going through the motions without a care in the world, everybody loved you. Everybody was cool with you. Everything was okay. But once you begin to elevate your life in such a way where you're not comfortable with mediocre, you're not comfortable with average, once you really try to take yourself to a certain playing field where you're trying to get every single benefit that God is willing to give to you, watch and see if people don't have a problem with it. And I'm not just talking about people that don't know you. I'm talking about people that are already in your inner circle. I'm talking about family members. I'm talking about friends. I'm talking about people that you hold near and dear into your heart. See if when you try to level up on your life, if somebody doesn't have a problem with it. Why? Because it's like I said again, everybody is used to being able to roll in masses. The masses always want people to be able to come back and lean towards them. Have you ever heard the phrase, misery loves company? If you're in a group of people right now, and let's say all 5 of you are obese, do you really think that if you start trying to go to the gym and you start changing your diet and you really try to make a personal transformation in your life, that all of those 4 other people is just going to be rooting you on 24/7? Do you really think that, honestly? If they're not trying to go anywhere, they're not trying to change anything, but they're just going to be cheering you on the whole time, you got another thing coming. People don't like when others step out of the masses, even if it's in a productive way. We are so busy, used to being creatures of habit. We are so comfortable with the norm that anytime we see any inkling of change at any level, it makes us uncomfortable. Think about human behavior very naturally. Think about whenever you've gone on Facebook and there was a new Facebook change. How many times did you see Facebook posts by people saying they didn't like the change? Why was that? People don't like change. In time, they get used to it, but no one really wants to embrace change. And if you want to be successful, you got to be willing to embrace change. Third and final point that I want to be able to share with you in this video. You've got to be able to escape the masses and be willing to be courageous enough to be willing to see the vision that other people don't see, but in due time, they'll follow after it. I'm going to say that again. If you want to be successful, and you must escape the masses in how you think professionally, you've got to be willing to see a vision that others do not see, but in due time, you know that they're going to follow after it. I'm going to give you a prime example. At one time in history, it was crazy for someone to imagine seeing someone else through a screen. At one point in life, there was no such thing as communication or viewing somebody else of the human civilization through a screen. We just were used to seeing each other in person and having direct one-on-one interactions. Think about what the inventor of the screen went through in trying to present that idea to everybody else. Oh man, this is crazy. Oh man, that's stupid. You know what? That's retarded. Why would you waste so much time trying to focus on building a screen when everybody else is doing this? Why would you spend so much time trying to figure out how to be able to see somebody else through a glass when such and such is doing this and such is doing that? And they give you all of this resistance. They give you all of this pushback. They give you so little support up until the time when it becomes self-evident to communicate with others through a screen. Before FaceTime existed, how was people communicating then? Before Skype existed, how did people communicate then? Before there was such a thing as YouTube, all of these social environments, Snapchat, all these things, before screen communications became a norm, what did life look like then? And it took people that were bold enough and innovative enough, weird enough, as people would say in society, to push forward on a vision that nobody else saw, because they were that confident that in due time, people would come around to the point where it would become self-evident. People felt the same way about telephones. People felt the same way about automobiles. People felt the same way about airplanes. People felt the same way about starting businesses. Somebody accomplished it. Somebody had to escape the masses. But most people are unwilling to do that because leaving the masses comes with a lot of fear. And so I want you to be bold enough to silence those doubts. I want you to be strong enough to silence those doubters. It's okay if they don't see the vision right now, but you know that as you keep working hard, in due time, they'll be able to see the vision because you're going to force it by your own success. You're going to force it by your own work. You're going to force it by your own results. And in due time, the work is going to speak for itself and it's going to be self-evident. So I want you to leave me a comment right now, and I want you to tell me about how you're going to escape the masses. I am not going and saying isolate yourself on your own private island. I'm not saying that. There's nothing wrong with being in a regular city, just like I am, not telling you to go off and be no weirdo. I'm simply trying to get you to understand that if you want to be successful in any arena, professional, spiritual, physical, you name it, the best of the best always operate differently than everybody else. The best of the best in any category, they don't have the same habits. They don't have the same mindset. They don't have the same rituals. They don't have the same disciplines. They don't do everything that the norm does. And there's nothing wrong with the norm, but you should only follow after the norm's way of thinking if you want normal results. If your dream is going to be indicative of being in the top 5%, then that means that you got to do the things that only the 5% of people on the planet are willing to do in that respective arena. Make sure to subscribe, share this video with a friend, continue to make yourself better, be bold and be courageous, and I'll see you on the next video.